In this video, I'm gonna give you 8 reasons why you should not get the Volaris Annual Pass. I've had it for more than 1 year and I've used it a lot, but there is some things you need to consider before getting this card. The Volaris Annual Pass costs you $500 or 8,000 pesos, and with this you can fly as much as you want for 1 year. But there is some restrictions and there are some things you need to know before getting this pass, and that's why I'm gonna tell you about the 8 worst things and reasons why not to get this card, because there's both high fees, you need to be super flexible, and a lot more things. So let's start with the list. So the first one is high taxes. When you pay for the Volaris Annual Pass, you pay $500 or 8,000 pesos, and then it's kind of for free. But the problem is that you actually pay up to $120 for one flight just in taxes. And I've made other videos where I go more in detail and show you examples of how much you pay. But you should expect something like this if you take an international flight. As an example, if I take a flight from Mexico City to Los Angeles, this is $120 more or less. Really, these taxes can be high, so it's really not for free in the end. Having this pass, there will be additional costs that you need to know of. Though that being said, when you take the same flight, let's say Los Angeles to Mexico City, then it's only $35 more or less. So it depends on the flight and the airport and how the taxes is. So this is one big catch to this. So when you pay the $500, you still need to pay, let's say, $150 for a round trip flight with this pass. So there will definitely be additional costs, even if you just have your backpack and nothing else. There will be high taxes with this. Probably one of the worst things on this list, because again, it is high taxes. It's not like $20 or something like that. It is $120 for one flight with no extras. Then the next one on the list is that extras are overpriced. So if you're gonna do an international flight and you wanna bring a carry-on, then it's probably gonna be around $50. Which is also a little expensive, I would say. And if you want to take a checked-in luggage, then it's going to be $100. So you should expect something like this. And I would say it's, especially the checked-in luggage, I think is overpriced. I think it's a lot, like I did it one time where I had to pay, let's say, the $120 for the taxes. And then also I had to pay $100 for the checked-in luggage. So in the end, my free flight was $220 or something like that. So in the end, these extras can cost you a lot. And if you're a person that needs to travel with some extra things, then maybe it's better to fly with Mexico or one of the US airlines. I mean, again, I know also some of those have extras. I know that, but still, maybe it's a little more fair price with these extras. Before we continue with the video, can you do me one big favor and hit the like and subscribe button? That will help me make more videos like this, helping you with travel hacks, saving money, saving time, and just make life easier traveling. So please hit the like and subscribe, and then let's continue with the video. Then the third one is that you need to be super flexible. If it's an international flight, you can only book 72 hours out in the future. So let's say today is Monday as an example, then the furthest in the future I can book a flight is Thursday. So for that reason, you cannot plan anything ahead using this pass. And also, if it's a domestic flight in Mexico, it's only 24 hours. So that means if I log in and I look what flights is there, I can only see Monday and Tuesday. And if you're not a flexible person, then don't get this pass, because this is something that is only catered people that is super flexible. And this annual pass is super strict with these things, and you can't really plan things. And the next one on the list, I also mentioned a little bit here before, and that is you can only do one-way flights. So you can't book a round trip flight. You need to book one flight at a time, and then that's the way you kind of jump from destination to destination. This is something also that you need to be okay with. Number 5 on the list is that the app is bad. So I don't know, I think they recently updated the Volaris app and there have been a lot of problems for me. Like I've had many problems with checking in or other things, and it's just been really a headache. And then the bad thing here is that one thing is that the app doesn't work, but then you go to the counter at the airport and then they say, no, you need to do it on the app, blah, blah, and we need to see proof and all this bullshit. And these things has just really been annoying, and something I've experienced the last, I think, 2-3 flights, that there's just been problems with that. And then in the end, they say, no, you need to pay extra because you needed to check in online and blah, blah, blah. I understand this is a budget airline and maybe it's a little more stressful, or you need to figure out more things yourself. That's fair enough. But when the things don't work, then what do you want me to do? And then they just blame me for it, So this was something that was pretty bad. So I think here, this thing with the app and the service and all, you should not expect much. And then the next one on the list is that I've had a few experiences where I had to pay extra fees because of what I just mentioned before with the app and other things. And this has just been so annoying, also because they have so high extra fees for this. The last time is when I was in LAX and I had to fly back with my girlfriend. I checked in on the app and I actually managed to make it work, but then she could not check in and she tried many times. We also tried from my phone and this and that, and then we went to the counter in LAX, and then that person said, no, if you can't do it on the app, then you need to pay extra. And then she went to some machine because they told her to go to some machine, and then she went there, that also didn't work, and then had to go to another guy, and then in the end had to pay $85 for carry-on, and I don't know, for the check-in or whatever it was. And this was total bullshit because we had proof that we tried everything. I did the exact same thing and it worked for me. So again, I don't know, maybe there's again some things with this app or whatever, but just like some stupid fees where I think that they try a little too much, you know, to get that extra money when they see the opportunity, even when it's not fair, even when you as a consumer did everything you could. Number 7 on the list is that they overbook the flights. And I've experienced this 2 times out of like 19 or 20 flights the last year. In the end, I got on the flight, so it was not the end of the world. But of course, when you go to the counter or you want to check in and you can't check in, and then they tell you, okay, you get this other, boarding pass or something, but you need to wait and maybe we'll see if you can get on the flight and this and that. It's just a little annoying, but in the end I got on the flight. So in the end it was okay, but of course it makes you feel stressful also because the last time I was with my girlfriend where she managed to get the boarding pass and I didn't. And that actually leads me to the last one on the list because they are like a bit connected, these two. And that is that every single time I need to take a flight from Mexico to the US, I need to go to the check-in counter and do it manually. But when I do that, of course, I check in later than people that check in 24 hours in advance. And I think the reason why I have to go to the counter is because I have a Danish passport, and then maybe in the US, they need to have some person manually, like in person, see that I am that person or whatever. But then sometimes the people at Volaris is not having the right instructions, so they don't really know what they're doing. Then the last time I was like waiting for like 1 hour at the check-in counter because first I told them, like every time I go to the airport in Mexico, I need to go to the counter and check in manually because the app doesn't let me do it. And then this woman was just like, no, it's not possible. You need to try. And then I tried, 5 times, and then the app didn't work and all these things. And then because so much time passed and maybe it was like 1.5 hours before the flight, then she said the flight now was potentially overbooked. So it was just like so stupid, that whole situation, because again, I've taken these flights so many times before. You should only get this pass if you're a flexible person. You understand you need to pay the extra fees, whether it's the taxes or if you need to bring carry-on or checked in luggage and things like that. Those things you need to be aware of, and also expect not always the best service. But if you're okay with that, then of course you can get this pass, and that's gonna save you some money if you do a lot of flights. I made other videos where I go more into the calculations, where I show you exactly how many flights you need to take before the Volaris Annual Pass makes sense. But I think this covers it for this video. I hope you found it useful. And of course, Volaris also have great things, and there's a reason why I've used it many times. But for sure, it's not perfect, and you should not expect the best service level. This is to go from A to B the cheapest possible way. Feel free to drop some questions if you're curious to know more about this pass, pros and cons. I'm happy to answer those questions in the comment section. Also remember to hit the like and subscribe button. That would help me make more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in one of my next videos. Bye bye.